Do you guys remember years ago that Shia LaBeouf video? Hope I'm pronouncing his surname right, but do you remember that "Just Do It" video? God, that video
Just
was
do
everywhere.
it.
It felt like for around 2 months straight, you couldn't go on the internet without seeing it remixed into all kind of versions, like dubstep versions, motivational gym compilations, just memes. All of it. I was probably around 16 or 17 at the time, just scrolling through it on my phone in bed. And I remember thinking it was such a funny, like unhinged video. It was just random out of nowhere. Like, why is this random? Well, not random, but why is this man screaming at me about my dreams in front of a green screen? It was just announced in a moment just to record it. Like, it was just in front of a green screen. And I think that was pretty much around the time that the Transformers movie starting to it started to get popular. And because of that, Shia was a lot more of a household name back then, more than now. And he was everywhere, magazine covers, talk shows, all of it. And it was actually kind of wild to see how much that clip kind of
Just
outlived his movie
do
career
it.
in terms of like internet relevance. But here's the thing about it. As time went on and I actually got a bit older, I started to realize what he was actually getting at underneath all the screaming and the memeability of it. Like, strip away the joke of the whole thing and just look at the message. It's stupidly simple, but somehow still really hard to live by. The three words, just do it, just start, stop thinking about it and just do the thing. Like, it makes sense. And when you actually sit with that for a second, you realize how many times in your own life have you not started? Have you not done it? Have you done the opposite? How many times have you put off studying for an exam until the night before? Or, telling yourself to start properly tomorrow? How many times have you said that you're going to start the gym on Monday? Monday comes and goes, and then somehow it becomes next Monday, and then the Monday after that, and so on. How many hobbies and skills have we just put off because, we just never took the first step? Not because we couldn't, but we just didn't. Aristotle, out of all people, the Greek philosopher, he said something which I think sums up this whole idea perfectly. He said, the beginning is half the whole, which I take to mean that just starting something is genuinely half the battle. Not the finishing, not the mastering of it, just starting it, because the beginning is statistically the hardest part of literally anything. Whether that's your first day at gym, your first line of script, your first word, I mean, not word, but your first rep, sorry, your first video, the first step of anything new is where most people quit before they've really even begun. And I feel like we're all hardwired with this kind of built-in resistance to, put off starting anything, whether it's due to the fear of the unknown, fear of failing publicly, the fear of looking stupid in front of people who probably aren't even paying attention to us in the first place. And I actually have a bit of a personal story that ties into this, which is honestly the whole reason why this video, the video idea came to me in the first place. I have a female friend who has pushed back just starting gym for what feels like actual years now. I've known her for pretty much my whole life. And genuinely, I could count on my two hands the amount of times that she's brought it up to me and said that she wants to start. And then she just doesn't do it, like she doesn't continue it. And I get it. Starting anything new is intimidating, especially somewhere like gym where it can feel like everyone already knows what they're doing. And, you're like you just look like you're out of place and you're the only one who doesn't know what they're doing. So for context, I've personally made, the gym a solid, consistent part of my life for close to around 6 years now. I'm not perfect. I'm not always motivated, but I am disciplined. I'd like to think I am, and I'm always consistent. And, due to that, I actually built a pretty solid physique for myself over the years, which I think she's noticed and she's always complimented. And honestly, I think that's probably why she's a bit insecure about her own body and how she looks and how she asks me to just always help her, get started to maybe train together. And the thing is, one day I said, all right, let's do it. Let's actually do it. So we went and we trained legs together. I showed her basic few movements. I kept it simple, nothing crazy. And honestly, I thought that was it. I thought that was, the session that was going to get the ball rolling for her. But no, almost immediately after, the excuses started rolling back in. In quotation marks, I have exams coming up. I'll go after my exam. And fair enough, I understand. Like, that's reasonable. Exams are a stressful situation. You want to focus on them. But the exams, they come, they go, and suddenly there's just a brand new excuse waiting in line behind the last one. This time it was that, she just didn't want to go because she was scared people in the gym would be staring at her, judging her, thinking that she didn't know what she was doing. And I actually looked into this a bit, and I wanted to understand where this feeling comes from. And there's actually a term for it. I believe it's called the spotlight effect. Basically, it's a psychological phenomenon where you feel like everyone around you is constantly clocking your every move. But in reality, they're honestly not. Like nobody in that gym is thinking about her. They're not thinking about, what she's doing. They're thinking about their own set, their own reps, whether their playlist is about to run out, whether they, what they're going to eat after. Honestly, nobody cares what you're doing. And that's the whole depth of the average gym goer's internal monologue while they're there. Well, that's what I think. Honestly, nobody cares. And I've told her this so many times, a dozen times at this point in different ways, trying to find a version of the sentence that finally lands. And honestly, that whole video idea came from a specific moment when I just looked at her and just said, just do it. Plain and simple. I said, just do it. No sugarcoating. And it was in that, it was actually in that moment I realized, oh my God, Shia was actually onto something all those years ago. He wasn't just a meme. He was actually trying to say something. But anyways, switching gears a little bit, I also just wanted to say that I hope you guys are enjoying the background gameplay I've got running behind all this rambling. It's my first ever Black Ops game that's on the screen right now on the recent ports. And honestly, the ports have been pretty solid so far, which, even with all the exploits and all the hacking issues that have been flowing around lately, which is a whole separate conversation in itself. So this is like my first proper video on this channel. I do have some old clips, I believe, on my channel flowing around of me playing OG Roblox when I was a kid, which honestly might be some of the most cursed footage on the internet, but we don't talk about that. But going back further than that, I want to talk about why I even started this in the first place. Back in the day, I remember in the actual prime era of Call of Duty, I'm talking about MW2 2019, Modern Warfare 3, COD 4, Black Ops 1. There was this whole scene of YouTubers built their entire channels around simple gameplay. Guys like Chris Smooth, White Boy 7th Street, with these gamer tags, Cheat Like a Champ. These were all actual OGs of the whole COD scene back in the day. And it wasn't even complicated content either. It was literally just someone playing a game, gameplay playing, and them talking over it about a topic. And sometimes it can be about the game, sometimes it can be completely random stuff, sometimes just rambling about their day. But somehow, that type of content was just enough. Like it was a simple format, but it worked because it felt personal. Like I was just hanging out with someone whilst they played a game. And, it really was a much simple time back then online in general, before everything became so algorithm driven and so polished and produced. And genuinely, those videos were some of my favorite things to watch growing up. I'd come home from school and throw one in the background, and whilst I did my homework, or I'd watch them on the weekend whilst eating food, or especially whilst eating food. And ever since then, I had that little itch in my head, like, maybe I'll try that too. But I was a bit too young back then. But now that I'm older and I got the resources, why not try it? Like, this is my first time trying it. I'm not doing this hoping to turn this into a job or expecting this whole blow up or thinking I'm about to become the next best, the next big thing in gaming content. Like honestly, I don't even know if this style of video is still in fashion. Gameplay with just someone rambling over it. Is this even something people still watch? I feel like the algorithm has changed quite a lot. Attention spans have changed. Everything's a lot shorter, a lot punchier now. But none of that really matters to me for this. This is just something fun for me, something I've genuinely wanted to try. So why not, right? Why not just do it? Like Shia would say. Yeah, and I'll be completely honest with you guys as well. I'm pretty clueless on about how to go about this. Like even right now in this exact moment, I'm reading kind of off a script of summarized points that I wrote in a Word document beforehand. Originally, I just tried to record myself talking naturally off the top of my head, no script, but it didn't go well. I stuttered so much. I lost my train of thought around halfway through the sentences, went on tangents and had to restart quite a couple of times. It actually turns out this is actually a lot harder than it looks. You watch these guys who have been doing it for years and it looks effortless, like they're just naturally funny and articulate on the fly. But there's clearly a lot of skill and practice that goes in behind that, people give credit for. And honestly, like, that's what I like. Like, I think that is really cool. Like, this whole process, it's trial and error. Like, I love that. Like, I'm figuring it out as I go along. I'm probably gonna make mistakes. I'm making mistakes in this video, but that's the point. Just trying to get better at it, whether that be gym, making videos, learning an instrument, or whatever it is for you. And if you enjoyed the video, or even if you just found it mildly entertaining, feel free to like and subscribe. That general stuff, it means a lot for me for my first ever video. I have no idea if the length of me reading this whole script is even going to line up with how long the gameplay footage runs for. If it does end up running short, just let the gameplay play, or on its own after I'm done talking. And if the three people who actually end up watching this somehow are still here at this point, like, thank you. Like I genuinely mean that. Thank you. Like, give me constructive criticism if I'm doing anything bad or good. Just let me know. And yeah, peace, guys.